Hi, my name is Luis Oliveira, and I'm here to present the final version of my MedList application. First, let's take a look at my initial prototype. As you can tell, it looks a lot like a typical EHR screen, where we have a header with some patient information, patient picture, and a table with a medication list containing several data points. And the idea was that when the patient clicked on a specific item, then a window would open on the right side with a lot more information regarding to that specific medication. And then there's a footer with some additional information there. When we submit that for feedback from our peers, we got some very good feedback, and this is basically the conclusion that we took from there. Number one, there was too much information. Some of the data elements that were on my initial prototype were not really relevant to the app's main purpose, considering that the focus was to be on the patients. Also, the design is not suited for multi-device world, meaning the screen is suited for a desktop style EHR. And if you think about using that on a mobile device, a smaller screen, that design would not be very good. Also, to avoid duplicated and inconsistent notation, there were some points where I had the same information with different names on different parts of the screen. Avoid medical terminology. Again, some of the terms were more geared toward the provider than a patient. And finally, clearly separate active and inactive medications. The way it was on the screen was somewhat confusing. So based on that feedback, I established some guidelines for redesigning the app. The fun thing is change design to be more like a phone app. And that meant change the profile, narrow the display area so the profile looks more like a phone screen on a portrait layout. Avoid or completely eliminate the tape style look that we had before. Use buttons that are typically associated with mobile apps. Eliminate redundant information. Use patient-friendly terminology. And create separate screens for active and inactive medications. The focus for the patient is really on the active medications. The inactive are more for reference or history reference there. So this was my first attempt at redesign. You can see that we still had a header here, and now I had two tabs, one for what the patient is taking now and one for the past meds, and then different rows for each medication. And I used two different colors to help distinguish one row from another. I completely removed the footer. We removed a lot of the unnecessary information, and basically the way this interface worked was when you clicked in a specific item, the additional information for that item will be displayed. But again, there was really no indication for the patient that there was additional information, so there was kind of not very clear there. So on the final version, we completed the functionality to display additional information. We changed the way the table rows are displayed, looking more like a mobile app. And we also improved the app's aesthetics, including using icons, different font size, and color scheme, again, to be more like a phone application as opposed to a typical desktop application. And now let's take a look at how the final version came up. So this is our medication list. As you can tell, we completely simplified the header. Only can see Jones meds here, and it's a more informal language also. We have the two tabs, but now they work. If I click on past meds, I get the medication that the user is no longer taking and the ones that are taking now. For each medication, instead of using the dual color scheme that still looks a lot like a table, we went in with the like rounded boxes, which was more used in applications, in phone applications. We also used font size and boldface to make a really big difference between what's the medication name here and what's the addition or the information about the med. The little arrow indicates that there is more information for that specific medicine. If the user clicks here, you see the more information, and now the arrows change to be up, so it will be indicate that it can close and simplify more. So that's available for every single row. Also, if medication is due for renewal shortly, then we use red to highlight that for the user. And the same functionality is available for the past meds, where we can click and see more information. So this is the final version. I think it's a huge difference from where we started. This one looks a lot more like a phone app, and this is a prototype that can be developed into an app by making some more technical changes and some functional changes as well. But again, that's a different conversation. So I hope you guys enjoyed the presentation, and hope to see you again on the next class. Thank you.